Well, because for me, I mean, Lee, I am always jealous of you. Like, you were actually out in high school. Like, I was not out in high school. So I'm like, gayness at my high school was like, it wasn't like a horrible thing to be, but it definitely was like, was people talked about it, you know?
Yeah.
It was not so like it was a thing if you were. Whereas I
I
feel like
mean, it was
now,
a thing for me too. It
yeah,
just was a thing I was.
yeah,
Yes, and that's why I wasn't more cool in high school. It was homophobia, and that is the only reason.
that's definitely the reason.
And no one should ever question the statement I just made.
Did you ever play 7 Minutes in Heaven yourself?
Uh, I played Spin the Bottle. I don't know that we ever did. I'm trying to remember if we ever did like a full actual like go into a fucking closet or something. I don't think I
I
did.
don't think I ever have either. That's why I was like, I don't feel like that's a, not that that's not a thing, but it was never a thing
Oh, it's for sure a thing.
that like me and my friends were doing.
Listen,
Um,
at other parties that like, you know, cooler people who weren't being hate crimed into not being cool like I was,
mm-hmm.
were attending, like I there was other shit going on. I know that for sure. But
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever actually did a full 7 minute
Well, that's the
thing.
thing, like as a queer person in insert date here, like it's also
As a
like,
queer person of a certain age.
well, but even if like there wasn't homophobia, there was definitely like very strict heteronormativity. So like I did never play that, but I'm like when I was in high school, like definitely like played some sort of like drinking and kissing games that like would have never involved me kissing a girl,
Yes. Well, and
right?
that's
Because
but
it's
this is what
like,
I'm saying. This is why that scene always gets to me, and that's why I wanted to talk about it because when you watch that scene and they're just like, you pull the phones out, man, like it doesn't matter, you're
whoever
going
it
in that fucking
is,
bathroom, like
exactly,
whoever it
like,
is. The reason I can tell you I know I played Spin the Bottle is because like every time you played one of those stupid fucking games, every time we had to have the discussion of like, oh, what do you do if you spin, like if you're a girl and you spin another girl, what do you
what are
do,
you
and is
gonna
it the
do?
same or different than if like two dudes spin, right? Because like no, when I was in high school, man, like
No,
no guys were signing up to be like, oh yeah, if I spin Brett, I'm gonna make out with Brett. Like no, they were
yeah.
not.
But they're definitely like I think too, I mean, we grew up in similar-ish times, but like there's definitely like and we're going to sort of talk about this in terms of like queer media talking about like teens and coming of age stories. There was like
Mhm.
there's a clear fetishization
Oh, for sure.
of girl on girl versus like you're right. It's like, "Oh no, it's so gay if I make out with that dude," but like you two should make
Not
out and we
gonna
should,
kiss Kyle.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like
Okay.
you two should make out and I want to watch. Like
Right.
that's like
Right.
the vibe of like what it would have been like to kiss a girl in any of those like high school games.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was my idea for a slightly more fun than like let's just do a quick list of all of the shows that have been canceled in the last year. Let's
We
just
can't do
like a
that.
slightly happier note. Let's talk about like stupid gay, like being a gay
Gay
teen and
teen
like coming of
in
age
different
gay teen
eras and
stuff
how is
and
it
like
different? Yeah.
I just think it's fun. I don't know.
I agree. All right, so let's dive in. I mean, I wrote the most extensive list of gay teen content because I also do feel like when you we've talked about this many times before, right? But like when you think about queer content, actually the majority of queer content I feel like is young adult queer content.
Yes,
We get a
very
few,
teen heavy. I mean,
like
it's well,
super teen heavy.
and we talk about this
And
a
that's
lot. It's
fine.
very coming out heavy
Yeah.
still, and so I think it obviously lends itself to the teen framework, the teen lens, the
Yeah.
teen era of life, as far
Yeah.
as the stories that get told a lot. But that's why it is interesting to even to see how the experience has changed, how the representation of the experience has changed, some of the ways that the representation hasn't always
And
changed that are
also, I mean,
interesting.
some parts that I like is like actually, and maybe it's just because like I am of a certain era also. Like, but like some of the
Of an
old
age.
of an age, some of the older content I like better. I'm like, even if I watch it again, I'm like, like for example, I think The Incredibly True Adventures of Two Girls in Love is better than like major and But I'm a Cheerleader. Those two coming of age stories that were written in the 90s and the early 2000s are better than any teen coming of age story we've gotten since. And maybe that's my bias.